again. Same old shit, dog. Just a different day. Y'all remember that classic from DMX? Monique, what we doing, man? How long we gonna keep doing this, yo? You're suing Netflix now over a deal that is at this point, what, 2 or 3 years old? What are you doing, Monique? Just take your L and go somewhere else, man. You feel me? There's no reason that at this point you should still be trying to fight over crumbs. You understand? At this point, you just look desperate. Now, if you haven't seen the news, Monique has filed a lawsuit against Netflix over that $500,000 deal that they gave her. She's citing racism and gender bias. You know? Now, here's the thing. She's done too much on a public level to even have a case, because what people have to understand is that if you're going to pursue legal action, your case has to be kept on the low. When you're fighting these cases and you have public statements against your that are going with your cause, and they can potentially turn the case over to where it's not in your favor, there's no sense in pursuing legal action, because you have too much that contradicts your statements, you know? Now, we've seen the Breakfast Club interview. We've seen all the other interviews and videos that she posted and other statements and interviews and things like that. If you're going to file a lawsuit and claim racism, right? You're claiming racism. You're claiming that you got paid a low amount because of your skin color. You also brought up Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. You brought up the fact that they got paid very high numbers. So now you can't say it's about skin color. Why? Because there are other black comedians that have got paid way more money than you. So that eliminates the racism part. Then the gender bias. You constantly was bringing up Amy Schumer. You don't have a case, Monique. You don't have one. Like, you've done a very bad job of defending yourself on this situation. You know, and I continue to stay on my stance as far as me just feeling like when it comes to overall business, Netflix doesn't have a reason to pay Monique a significant amount of money. They probably feel like, with metrics and reports from stand-ups of hers or whatever content of hers that they do have, they probably feel like it's just not going to bring enough traction in. You know, so for them to pay you $2 million, $3 million for a special, if they're not going to make that money back, then what's the point of them making? What's the point of them doing a deal with you? You know, you're sitting up here fighting over money. You're fighting people to get into their wallets. I always found that to be like the dumbest shit ever. How are you fighting people for them to not pay you their money? You're not fighting for money that they made off you. You're not fighting you're fighting them to get in their wallets. Like it's damn near trying to rob somebody. Like, that's damn near what that is. Imagine somebody come to you, right? Let's say me, right? I do camera work, I do video editing and shit, right? You watching this video. Let's say I come to you and I say, yo, give me such and such money and I'll do this video job for you. You don't want to invest the money because you don't feel like it's worth it. You don't feel like it's you don't feel like you're gonna make money off of it. You don't feel like what I bring to the table is substantial enough for you to pay me. Okay. Then you're gonna go and find somebody else who can do the work that you want to get done. That's not any type of bias. You just don't want me to do the work. And that's all it is, and that's all it should be taken as. But Who am I to sit here and try to fight you and say, hey, you're biased against me. Why can't I get such and such money? That's your money. And you decide who that money goes to. Like, it's a very plain and simple process, man. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I feel like Monique is at this point just desperate. You know, the money that you're going to spend trying to fight this case is going to be the same money you could have made putting the tour together. You understand? Putting the tour together, going on the road, getting your own money, instead of solely worrying about Netflix. The highlight of your career for the last 3 years has been Netflix. Nobody cares, like, as far as what Monique brings to the table now, as far as her relevancy and what people are talking about her for. The only thing that comes to mind right now when you say Monique is Netflix and the controversy surrounding it. And now she's continuing to add to it. She's trying to file a lawsuit. I can tell you right now, when she finally, if she ever does get a Netflix deal and she does a special, it's going to be the funniest thing in the world. Now it might actually make sense for Netflix to do a deal with her. Because it's just going to be crazy, you know? And she going to look crazy if she do end up getting a Netflix deal, because it's like, you did all this and then they finally gave you a deal. Now what? All that slander and say they racial bias and gender bias, and you end up getting a deal from them. Because they finally feel at some point it made sense. You know, so I feel like Monique is just fighting a fight that she don't need to be fighting. It's not worth it at the end of the day. It's just like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I wish she'd stop making a fool of herself and go into other endeavors and other things that could be making her money, as opposed to just focusing on Netflix. Like, go to other streaming companies. You haven't had meetings with Hulu or any of these other streaming services? Like, you're just focused on Netflix? Like, come on, man. This is like I hate when, especially when black people are doing things like this, because the stuff that they really need to be fighting for, it's like Charlamagne said, man, she fighting for something that's for herself. She not fighting for everybody else. Because there's other people that's going to come along and get them good deals because they are deserving of them. And because Netflix feels like they're going to get their money's worth. Being a legend has nothing to do with business. There's a lot of legends that don't get paid legend money. Why? Because at the time of them being a legend, they may not be as relevant anymore. They may not be bringing in the same amount of fans or whatever that they used to be. So just because you're a legend, yeah, you get high praise. You've been around long. You had a dope moment in time where you was reigning and whatever. But you get to a point where you just not relevant anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So Monique is on a witch hunt right now. I think she bugging the fuck out, and I think she need to chill, man. That's just my thoughts on that. No Mercy, Trap New York shit, NoMercyTV.com. I'm out of here.